Hey folks, we are back. It's the Cocoa Brothers from the Bricks.
What was that?
You remember the Cocoa Brothers, brother? They was from the Bricks, man. They was from Newark, New Jersey, brother. Cocoa Brothers. So where they from? I think they were from New York,
Coco
Bucktown.
Brothers, that
Remember?
might have been
Remember?
Queens
They
or
was
Brooklyn.
Queens, right? Yeah,
That's what it sounds like.
yeah.
Yeah, you just confused so many people
Oh yeah.
on YouTube right now.
I confused myself, man. This is Berg, that's BX, and we
Uh,
are definitely talking about Lego Masters. We're not talking about Cocoa Brothers. We're not talking about 80s hip hop and rap. We're talking about episode 6 Lego Masters. All right. In this build, my friend, in this challenge, we walk through the door and you see this Pinewood Derby racetrack. The race ramp is coming down. It's awesome too. It's all glossy and everything, yellow and black. And I look down and I see Mel Jermaine's name right there in lane 1.
oh yeah.
What are you
I,
thinking, brother?
I can't lie. Like seeing that racetrack was probably the first time that I got surprised about anything in any of the episodes. Like we all kind of had like an idea, like, all right, well, what's going to come next? They might do this, they might do that,
Mm-hmm.
and then as soon as you see the visual cue, you're like, oh, okay, that's what's about to go down. But this is the first time I was actually like, whoa, what are they really doing now?
Right, right. Yeah, man. I gotta say, I was very excited because I'm like, man, we're gonna do a race car, because we've been to Lego shows. When you see that thing, you know what time it is, and so it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, man, we're gonna build a race car. We're gonna race, and we're gonna make this thing fast. We're gonna win this joint. And I'm thinking, like, this is the challenge, and we're gonna be done and out. So that's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
I think we're gonna
Like
be
it's
done and
gonna be a
out.
real quick episode.
I said it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be a quick knockout. So they tell us that this is the bonus to the actual round, which is fine. We start building. We start building our little our car, our race car. And so what's the dynamics we're going for here on this race car?
All right, so I mean, we're dropping from a pretty high level, so we got to make sure that the race car has tons of weight in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have skinny wheels
Mm-hmm.
so that it's less friction,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to be able to get some air under the car as well, so there's no drag.
And one thing that I like that you did, and that you had the presence of mind to do, was that you put those front wheels on an axle, my friend,
Yes,
so that they don't turn left or right. They keep us straight and down the track.
that's right. That's right.
And
Everything got to move in one motion.
right, right. And even I think even a Brickmaster Jamie even pointed that out. He was like, "Hey, look, you got your wheels on an axle. It looks pretty fast because now you're controlling that speed with that axle, and we kept it light. You got the weight on the back, and you got a lot of air going through. Man, it probably had to be the lightest on the track.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm surprised that they actually showed that footage of him giving us a compliment. Like, well, that's very rare nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, because they've been kind of slamming us a little bit, brother. You know what I
You know, but it's still out there.
We ain't even on the show. They still slamming us.
Like, what is that about? That's a little teaser for episode 7.
They
Yeah.
still slamming us. We ain't even on the joint. I'm like, dang, well, at least we get a shout out. Like, you don't be on the show, like, and you get a shout out, like.
Yeah, but I mean, let us get a shout out for good work that we've done instead of
Right.
Gate. Like, now that's going to be our legacy in Lego Masters. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. So we call this thing the Rad Racer, right? Because it looks like, to me, it looks like the Speed Racer. The white car with the red
oh,
flames on it, and So we came up with Rad Racer. Something that rhyme a little bit, right? And
okay.
we're looking at the other contestants, derby cars, and they're fun looking, but we know we got them beat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they let the cars go down the track, right? Out the gate, Boone and Marks is flying down this ramp, and I'm like, oh, come on, man, not again, man. I'm like, come on. And so everybody else's car started failing, one right after the other, right after the other, right after the other. But then it's us and Boone and Mark coming down that track, man. And as slowly as we get ready to make a push, man, if we just had just a little bit further to go, man, I think we would have edged them out because we were coming on strong, bro.
Yeah, we were on their tail. Like the front of our car never left the back of their car.
Right, right. And we were getting closer and closer and closer, but we ran out of we ran out of track. So we ended up coming in a strong second. And
impact.
yes. My man went flying. Wasn't he? Him and that steering wheel went flying. Crash dummy. So as a bonus, I think Boone and Mark went 5 minutes ahead of us. We're right behind them. And so the next challenge is bridges. We're trying to build a strong bridge. And if you're any fans of the Australia show, you know how this is going to go, right? Well, you thought you knew. Well,
right.
Australia, they had 12 hours to build. They're cutting us to about, what was it, 7?
7 hours.
7 hours.
Now, 7 hours would have been first place. So we got 6 hours and 55 minutes, basically.
6 hours, 55 minutes. And the rules are that, you can't build on top of the pillars like Australia did. You have to build flush to them because the pillars are the roadways. And then they have, what was it, a 2x, I don't know, what was that thing, like 20 studs? 30 studs? How long was it?
Well, as far as like the height or?
The, underneath the pillar where you could build your, where you build your supports at, right there, that little ledge that was underneath. It was 2 studs by.
We built our bridge up under a two stud lip, and then when you go straight down, there's another 2 stud lip.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we had to be able to push anything into.
Mm-hmm. And so, which was a little bit difficult. It was a very challenging challenge. Not to say it wasn't doable, because it was. It's just really challenging. And then you had to go in with a full plan and stick to it. Backtracking, anything like that. And we learned about that, and we'll talk about it. Backtracking and trying to redo stuff will kind of get you done. And so we decided to go with the A-frame, with the two plate stack beams. So explain the A-frame first.
All right. So basically, you just have 2 truss supporting, going in this direction, and then it's holding the level of the bridge across it.
Mm-hmm. So we got this A-frame truss, like this A-frame truss, where we're gonna put this our road on top of this A-frame, and so to hold up our road, Jermaine came up with this technique that he's been trying at home, which works perfectly to hold weight. And tell them about that technique.
All right. So basically, like, you have to make the Legos indestructible. You know that they're gonna put like tons of weight on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to collapse based off of the strength of the Lego.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is that I take as many, it had to be maybe 8x10, 4x10 or 4x8 plates,
mm-hmm.
and stack them side by side.
Mm-hmm.
That way when you stack it, all it could do is bend, but it's never going to actually break.
Right.
Never going to happen. Like, I'm pretty sure they're still trying to take that bridge apart, and that was months ago. But we stacked them up, levels like I probably did about maybe 4 inches thick, 2 beams going straight across
mm-hmm.
under the columns, and then we're supporting that by a complete roadway surrounding that, using snot techniques to hold the beams in place, mm-hmm. and then you have the support on the bottom, support on top, and then extra reinforcement on the top. I mean, the bridge itself was good enough to be able to survive any weight they would have put on it. Mm-hmm. Now we just need something to actually hold it in place.
Right. And so that A-frame support would have held it in place. And we would probably honestly would have been probably it would have probably been 3 bridges holding 1,000 instead of just 2. And where we came into a little bit difficult. We actually changed the supports or the construction of the supports like 3 times. It just wasn't coming out the way we thought it was going to happen like the first time around. So then we swapped out with another type of design, and then Brickmaster Jamie came around and said, "Hey, look, I see the way you're going with it, putting incorporating these Technic bricks in it." But he said, I think, what he said? He said, I think the angle that you're going is going to be a bit off.
Yeah, he did say that. I forgot about
Mm-hmm.
that. So, I mean, we kind of overstudied different techniques as far as, to be able to support weight.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to memorize the spacing of the bricks so that way we could just, replicate this process all the way up to the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But, at some way we lost the angles. And now we're just guessing
Mm-hmm.
for most of the work to get this one example done so that we could just duplicate it 3 more times to support the bridge.
Yep.
And that definitely, held us up a lot.
Yeah, it did. It did. So we went back after Brickmaster Jamie said something. We went back and changed it a 3rd time so that we had the right angle.
Right.
And I was able to crank them out as quickly as I could, but the time was narrowing down, and so it came time to where we had to take. Jermaine had finished the actual roadway bridge with these 2 beams on it, and so it was ready to mount, and we had trouble mounting this thing.
So they give us, each team has this platform that's supposed to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
These 2 pillars, and it has the exact measurements. But when it comes time to clamp this thing in, one of the pillars are off by half a stud.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up spending 20 to 30 minutes working with the challenge producers to figure out what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
For them to ultimately say, "We don't know.
Right.
Gotta make it work." And I'm like, how? Everybody else is, building and stacking along, but now we got this perfectly measured bridge. It's not like it's warped or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but our display thing was a setup, man. It was a setup.
Yeah, man. It was a tough challenge. We finally snapped that thing on there after 30 minutes later. And I'm sure we probably had to either push one of the pillars in or pull one of them out just to get the thing lined up. And so we finally get it in there. And man, you know what? I probably should have looked up at the time because we were like 30 minutes in. I should have probably looked up at the time because at this point I completely forgot about that the bridge has to be flush with the pillars at this point, and all we probably had to do was grab some plates from the brick pit and start stacking the plates up so we're flush. And even though we didn't have the supports that we were looking to have, I think we probably would at least held 175 pounds, which would secured our spot into the next round. Even though we would have failed this build, you had one bridge that fell at 45 and the other one fell at 125, and I think that had we put those plates on our bridge, we would have held more weight. So I don't see. That's why it bothers me, because it's like we went in there with a disadvantage because we didn't have those plates on our bridge to be flush with the pillars. So that's kind of a disadvantage, and for us to get penalized for that is, and we still hold 125 pounds.
Well, yeah, I mean, what it was, the only reason, because I knew about leveling it off with the podium, but we had to really prioritize our time. It was like we either finish a set of supports to some degree, or we could finish a flush bridge with nothing to support it. So, I mean, I was helping you do the 4 supports,
right,
and then I was creating a backup system to do another A-frame truss in the middle, just in case if we couldn't meet the level of the bridge. I build this whole thing, and it's strong, but it was like maybe 3 bricks shy of meeting the bottom of the bridge.
Right, right.
So now we have 2 sets of supports completely not touching the bridge.
Yeah.
And then we had to create a third system of where all we did was just stack a bunch of 2x4 bricks up on each side.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the only things actually holding that bridge in place.
Yeah.
2x4 bricks. And it still held 125 pounds.
Bro, and I'm telling you, you know what I think? I think that if we didn't go the route to where the supports were, right, and that bridge is designed to flex, right, to bend. Yeah. I think that if we would have opted to do the plates instead of the supports, I still think that we would have held more weight. I just think we would have held more weight.
To some degree, I mean, if we're just stacking plates on top of the bridge just to meet the roadway, mm-hmm. then we're adding more weight to the bridge, mm-hmm. potentially. Mm-hmm. And that itself is making it heavier on top of not being supported.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I got you. I understand that. So, so they, your boys are in the trick bag, you know, from the jump. You know, they looking at it, and they know we failed the challenge because we're not two plates up, you know, to road level like like the rules stated. So we're automatically in the bottom two, and they tell us that from the break. So it's hard to put a smile on my face throughout the whole thing when they already told you from the break, hey, look, Mel and Jermaine, you're going to be down in the bottom two, you know, because XYZ, you know, and everything. So at that point, you say that your fate is sealed at this point, and so it's kind of hard to put on a smile and interact with the other contestants because you know that you're thinking about that flight home. Because honestly, I don't think we were ready to go yet, and I think, like you said, we just overthought this challenge to a point where you find yourself doing double and triple work and trying to catch up, and it just wasn't enough time. And I definitely wanted to see that bridge, time or no time. I definitely wanted to see that bridge done and tested at its full capability because I think those were great techniques.
Right. So for anybody out there who's thinking about applying to season 2, don't let over planning get in your way. Yeah. Because the 2 bridges that reached above 1,000. Those teams had no idea what they were going to do. They were just trying things. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, the work showed for itself. Now, we came up with really good techniques, but we just spent too much time on them. But how we finished it, yeah. I mean, like, knowing that their simple techniques reached over 1,000, mm-hmm. I have no doubt that ours could have hit between 2,000 and 3,000 if they had enough weights to prove it.
Right. Yeah. And that was another thing that kind of peeved me a little bit too, because then I think one of us slipped up and said, "Oh well, I didn't know that was part of the rules or something." So then they come out with the rule book and yeah, we got the rule book right here. We got it right here. It says it right here. But then you hear from the crew or whatever that this technique this challenge has been tested from their experts that they have backstage, and it's been tested, and they went through it, and they built a bridge. And here's what the truth is that they built a bridge, but they built a bridge that wasn't going to hold 1,000 pounds. See, no. So they weren't ready for these contestants. They weren't ready, and even they had to say, "Well, you broke the show." No, you guys just weren't ready for this capability. That now you got to think about it. You recruited the best in the land, right? So you would think you would be prepared for 1,000-pound bridge, but they weren't. They wanted us to build these bridges so they can quickly break them, and that's why I think that the whole time thing was 7 hours or 6 hours, because they wanted us to build something so they can quickly break and move on. And you had a couple bridges like Tyler. Tyler was the first one to go. Like, they put all those weights, those bells on there, and it didn't move. So they had to send all of us back to the trailer, make Tyler take all the weights off. Yep, 3 times. So the second time, they went and got more weights. He putting all the weights back on this bridge. Now, mind you, it already went through that. He's putting the weights back on this bridge, right, again. and the extra weights that they got, he put them all on there. No more weights left. What do? All right, send everybody back. All right, so everybody's back in the trailer again, right? They come out with some more weights. We do this thing again. Poor Tyler, he's getting his workout on, putting the weights right back on there, right? He
Yeah.
put the first set on there. He put the second set on there, and now they got new weights. He's putting that on there, and they ain't got no more weights for my man. So they ain't got no more choice but to stop at 1,000 because they ain't got no more weights.
Remember,
Safety precautions.
it technically went beyond 1,000.
Yeah.
We both tapped out at 1,250 because that's all they had.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they edited to where it's like, oh, we have to stop at 1,000. I don't know where they got that number from.
Right.
Those two bridges held way more than 1,000.
Yeah, they held way more than 1,000, but and that's just it, man. And kudos to Tyler, man. He didn't use not one Technic brick. He tried it. It wasn't working for him, so he re-engineered his whole thinking and went with what he knew. And kudos to him, man. He's a real builder, man. And that's kind of gutsy to go out there on a limb. I'm not using no Technic brick. We're just gonna stack these bricks, and then we're gonna plate lock these together. And it worked.
2x10 bricks. That's all he used.
Yep. And, kudos to him, man. And kudos to Mark and Boone. Those guys, and I respect something like that because those guys are real engineers. They engineer for real. And so to make a bridge that really looked like a bridge like that, with the struts and all that, that looks great. And like you said, I don't think they were expecting that bridge to hold that much either. They knew they were gonna hold a lot, but they didn't know they were gonna hit over 1,000.
Nobody thought that their bridges were going to hold nearly as much as they actually did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're going based off of Australia's thing because their strongest bridges didn't hit near 200 pounds.
Right.
When these were like actual engineers working on these bridges, and they had almost twice the time.
Yeah.
And they got, I think their max was 188 pounds.
Right.
So we're thinking like, oh, we'll be lucky if our bridges hit 100 pounds.
Yeah.
No, we built some behemoths.
Yeah, they went all out, man. Even the broken ones went all out, man. And and it's amazing because it's like you try to go down, down violently, with a fight, and it's tough because then you get those things stacked against you. And it's a tough pill to swallow, man. I wish we could have persevered through that, man, and move forward, man. Like you said, we definitely top 3 material, man. And I felt it like every week we were getting stronger, and it was a couple mistakes, your boy made stuff like that, but we were getting stronger, and I think that we could have definitely went the distance.
The important thing to me is that the people that that I know and the people that are just making comments on the videos that are released and like based on our build, America knows that we were growing every challenge.
Yeah.
And America knows that we weren't ready to leave and that we had the potential to be top 3. And that's what matters to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to think for any reason that regardless of what narrative the producers are trying to paint us in, that we were trash or whatever the case is. Like,
right.
America knows the truth, and I'm so glad that they're smart enough to perceive that through all the smoke and mirrors of the TV show.
Right. Yeah, and I'm on the same accord with you, man. You see some comments with some folks. They feed into the story that the producers want to tell, but on the other hand, you see the real lies, recognize real lies, and like you said, like we were getting stronger. Like here's the kick in all this, I only been building 3 years. I mean, it's a lot of techniques that I don't know, but I know one thing is that I'm not going to copy off of somebody like that's in the same room with me or not even the same room with me or whatever. I'm not looking, and you're so involved in these builds because mind you, that time is ticking, I ain't got time to sit over there and look at you, look at what you're doing, and hey, they're making a baby. Let's go make a baby, dude. Let's, let's make the same thing they making.
Don't
You
ever say
know,
that.
ain't nobody, so it's like, here's the reality is that we got kids, and I'm saying it, and this was from the last time we had kids, and so it's like, all right, well, let's make this fun, let's make a baby, let's do this, let's do that, because we already had our pre-plan of if this challenge comes out, let's do this. If
Right.
this challenge come out, let's do this. And you kind of that's the only way you really can you prepare for Lego Masters, is that okay, those what if moments. If they come up with this, we're gonna do this and this and this. If they come up with that, we're gonna do this, and this. Because time rolls by so quick, and you even said it. You said it on the show. Those minutes roll off like seconds. They're so quick. You got in my experience, you got Will, you got to entertain, of course, he's the host. You got Brickmaster Amy and Jamie. They're gonna come by and give you some pointers. That's good. They're at least gonna give you 2 visits. And then you got the producers who constantly at your table want to know the scoop, want you to mess with somebody, want you just want you something, Can you, and that eats a lot of your time. So your 6, 7 hours, 11 hours, 15 hours, 24 hours really ain't that, because they take a lot of time away from you.
Right. Now, one of the things that I noticed that, didn't sit right with people that were out there rooting for us and supporting us, they didn't like the technicality that we were disqualified for. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that the viewers will never know or haven't seen is that technicality of having the bridge to meet the platforms, the sole purpose of that was so that they could take a remote controlled truck and drive it through all 6 connected bridges with a GoPro, because it was going to look really cool.
Yeah.
They did this. They shot this whole thing with this remote controlled truck 3 different times. You never see it in the episode. So we got kicked off for a technicality that at the end of the day didn't even matter.
Didn't matter. What Rock say, doesn't matter that you matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Well, just so that you guys know, the truck had no problem getting on and off our bridge at all. No. We were the first bridge. It went down 2 plates, bloop, got back up and kept it moving.
Right.
I think the truck had more trouble just being driven by Will than getting on and off of our bridge.
Yeah, he had a problem with going left or right. But and with that said, think about Flynn and Richard's bridge, right? Their bridge is beautiful, but it didn't hold that much weight. And you got this truck rolling on their bridge. Now, you think that truck made their bridge any stronger or weaker?
That was a 10-pound truck. The truck itself was about 5 pounds, and then they put another 5-pound weight in the truck. They got a GoPro strapped in there.
Right.
That was a pretty heavy truck.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man, but
yeah, man, it's messy hands, man, messy hands. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just, it was tough, man. I get questions like, hey, did they give you like a parting gift, or did they give you consolation gift? I said, yeah, they gave me a flight back home.
Free Uber to the airport.
Right. Yep. Holla at you. Yeah, that's it, man. They ain't give you nothing free. You work for the little change that they gave you, and you still got to pay taxes on that. I just pay mine today.
Oh yeah. All of that counted as like miscellaneous income or something like that. But we work and live in one state, and then all of that was just taxes from another state. So that of mine too.
Yeah, it wasn't fun when it added up, and I was looking at it, and I was like, it wasn't fun, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It was a wild ride, dude. It was a real wild ride. Like you said, you feel like you got so much more in the tank, and it's hard to go for a competitor to go out like that. And you know, at the same time, you know, it's tough because it's like, you know, you got who you really are, and you got the version of them trying to paint you what they want you to be.
Yeah. I mean, are we only like focusing on episode 6, or is this also like our own exit type of?
This is gonna be the exit, man. Unless you want to make another episode.
I just didn't want them to get bored or anything, but
Nah. This is just gonna. You know, I stopped talking about 6 a little bit, but you know, I just, you know,
yeah.
this gonna be the last episode for this series.
No, I mean, I feel like we should at some point maybe do like maybe just shorter recaps on like our take on the future episodes, like 7.
Okay.
We're in there too somehow.
All right, we could do that. We could do that. We could talk about 7 as soon as we end this one.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I could slice it. We could start talking about 7.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, I guess since this is going to be kind of like our exit thing, also.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I was kind of like disappointed with a little bit was that, you know, like as we're getting ready for the show, they ask for all this material. They ask you for all sorts of pictures with the kids and your uniforms and this and that.
Yeah.
But they asked me, like, oh, we want some footage of you in the studio recording songs.
Right.
They didn't use any of that.
Nah, they didn't use any of it. They didn't use any of it. They made me sign releases for those videos with the kids in them and me, you know, doing Lego robotics with the kids and stuff like that, and you know, and they didn't use any of it. Maybe because, you know why they didn't use any of it? And it's not to bash them. It's that because the story got twisted, and if you try to talk, you try to make somebody look bad, or you try to make somebody look a certain way, you know. For you to put me out there as a hero, because that's what I do every day, you know, it looks kind of weird on you to say, hey, look, you got this hero that you're glorifying, right? He's hanging out with the kids and stuff like that, but then you got him copying somebody else's build like a baby.
Right.
So if they're going with that story, Jermaine, they're not going to show those good things. They're not. They're just not interested in it because it's their story. So. I mean, it's a kick in the butt. It is, because we're not that type of people. But they feel like it makes great TV.
Jeez. I mean, it's like...
Maybe we didn't banter enough. Did we banter enough? You know, maybe we didn't banter, go back and forth enough, did we?
We gave them gold every time. And that's the thing, because it's like, we're not on the show anymore, but,
right.
You know, for producers, like, you know, when we do those little interviews in between the scenes... Mm-hmm. Those interviews are anywhere from a half hour to maybe an hour and a half each. And they're only getting little sound bites from this and that, depending on what they want to highlight. Right. But for that hour and a half, we were giving them gold. Yeah. Like, they need to create a whole blooper reel just from us being in that room, just talking about each other all day. Like,
yeah. I get it. Yeah, man. And that's, you know, that kind of bugged me too, man. I was thinking about that as well. It's like, man, they asked you for all this footage, even like, say, like the stuff that and what they did, America, was that they asked you for footage you taking your trip out there.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and they didn't use that.
Not at all. I mean, I get that, you know, from the producer standpoint, you want to have as much colors on your palette as possible to paint this picture. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was like exhausting trying to get all this stuff ready, the outfits, the build that the show was tinkering with in the beginning of the first episode. Mm-hmm. It's like we were losing sleep left and right.
Yeah.
Try to get ready for this awesome opportunity to be able to show you guys who we really are.
Yeah.
Just for them to be like, nah, we're not interested in who you really are. We're going to paint you as this.
Yeah. And I told you, man, in one of those interviews that we did with the producers, like when we were in the interview room, I had to wake up to it. I said, yo, wait a minute. We the villains of this thing here, man. And you said, nah, man, there's no villains. Yeah, we are. And they started laughing, right? I said, we are the villains in this thing. I said, because they asked us to do stuff that's not normal.
I didn't want to believe it, man. I didn't.
I said they're going above and beyond, asking us to do stuff. And remember that time he wanted me to go ask, Aaron about the mixel joints?
Yeah.
Did he ask you to stop me, or did you stop me?
No, I stopped you. It didn't make like we were perfectly fine with him absorbing all the mixel joints.
Right.
We were over it. We were like, we already got these other joints over here that we're going to do our octopus with, and we're A-okay with that.
Right.
Take all the mixels.
Right.
It's like, oh no, but you guys are angry and no, we're not.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that.
More power to him. Like, we don't care.
And see
but they started thinking, I forgot about that, man. Like, there's so much.
And that's just it. It's like with the whole perspective of everything, everybody, is that, you hear that, oh, well, Jermaine and Mel got size, but they don't have detail, whereas, Aaron and Christian, they're smaller, but they got a lot of detail. Well, they're smaller and they got a lot of detail because they had the mixel joints for that squid, right? Now, if there was enough mixel joints to go around, we probably would have designed our whole thing a little bit different. But to mind you, we have two different objects here. We have a guitar, which is a lot longer and a lot bigger than a half of a helmet.
Yeah.
And so you kind of got to play to that scale, a little bit. You got to play to that scale a little bit. And at the same time is that, like they had limited mixel joints, y'all. So I mean, like we had to go with the ball joints, the ball and hinge joints. So I mean, so using the ball and hinge joints, your build's gonna be bigger.
Yeah, I mean, it's all based on the object and your imagination. But just know that when we're given these challenges, it's not just, oh, let's see what we could build.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we can build with the pieces that are still left.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would have you think we have unlimited brick to do this and that.
Right.
But really don't. We have maybe a good handful of this,
mm-hmm.
a handful of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pieces that could really make the difference between something visually stunning and
mm-hmm.
then something that actually moves, because they always encourage some type of motion.
Right. And then
show.
And then on top of that is like, now we're talking about features. Like one of the features that we had in a previous build, which was the mega city, was the waterfall, the moving waterfall that had the lights in it. And nobody in America or nobody who watched that show saw that. Now, if you put that camera on that and you display that, then our build looks a little bit different. Our build looks like a contender that it was and it should have been at that point. Instead of, and honestly, maybe it's just me, man. I mean, win, lose, or draw, man, we could be in the top 3 or not. I feel like they kind of dumbed our stuff down.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think even as we were watching the show, we were trying to give the excuse of, well, they don't have enough time to show everything. But, I mean, if they show anything at all,
mm-hmm.
show the highlights of the build rather than showing the things that you didn't like.
Right. And I figured that they would do that with the beauty shots, but they didn't even do it, man. And it's so disappointing because it's like, man, if anybody who saw that show went in that room and saw that mega city that we built, and you saw that waterfall, that moving waterfall, you saw the Pharaoh eyes light up, and you saw the hidden Easter eggs on that Pharaoh sands. You look at our build totally different because you see the highlights and the real like gems of the build instead of just, oh yeah, this is what it is. Oh yep, see you.
Exactly. When they do these beauty shots of all of these projects, we're there in the studio after everything is said and done
mm-hmm.
for like maybe 2 or 3 hours, watching all these fancy cameras and lighting, trying to get the right shot, and then I got to go and play with the functions so that they could capture all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They never show it at all.
No, they don't. They don't, dude. So, But I'm not a producer. I'm not an executive producer. I don't own a TV production program. It's not my ball of wax. But I did the best I could do, folks.
Definitely. And, I mean, make sure you guys are following us on social media. If you have any questions, come and talk to us.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, I guess episode 6 is a wrap. They voted us out. We gone. But we will chime in on episode 7 and 8, 9 and 10. We'll give our 2 cents in. I think we're entitled to that at least, right?
Oh yeah, maybe 4 cents.
4 cents. My 2 plus your 2. Man, we got some penny candy, baby.
If they keep showing us in the episodes, then yeah, maybe we should try.
Right. Yeah, man. But that we'll talk about it when we critique episode 7. But we do get a shout out in 7. We get 2 shout outs.
We do.
We get 2 shout outs. One's negative. One's negative. We get 2 shout outs. So you get one's negative, and then Lego returns.
Lego.
Man, that was a missed moment. Especially that was a missed moment, man. That was, man. With the I ain't never voice over anything. So that was a definitely missed moment. All right, folks, we outie like 5,000. We catch you next time. This is Berg. That's BX.